What's really good? What's really good? What's really good? Welcome back to another live episode of the Sanchez Show. As always, I'm your host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. Make sure you follow me across all social media platforms. You see the handle at Legend in Two Games across everything, man. Shoot me a like, shoot me a comment, subscribe to the show. We're live every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. Comment section looking real nice early on, man. It is Wednesday, June 25th, which means it is NBA draft night. So of course we got a lot to get into, and that's what the questions are leading as well. At some point throughout the evening, my brother Will Gordon will be joining me. Not only to talk some basketball, but if you locked in last week, we talked music. Last week we gave you our top 10 New York rappers versus top 10 Southern rappers. This week though, we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna get into the movie side of things. Some of the most disrespectful movie characters we're going to talk about tonight. It should be an interesting and very funny and entertaining conversation. So we're going to get into that once Will Gordon joins for a segment we love to call the opinionated ones. But to start out the night, let's get into the draft. And I want to thank you guys who rocked with me yesterday as we went live. We had Andrew Salop, host of Combos Court, on the live yesterday. And we got into the draft. Gave us some great information, some great insight on some of these prospects. That's what Andrew does. You know what I'm saying? He's so locked in with these guys. He can give you a great projection of what type of player you're going to get in the draft. And so we talked about that yesterday. We focused mainly on the lottery yesterday. It's a great conversation. I think you guys will love it if you just tune in. It's up on my Instagram, but it's also up on the YouTube page. So make sure you go check that out. And while you're there, make sure you follow Andrew Salop. Again, Combos Court on social media. Follow his podcast. He's doing some great things, man. Let's get into tonight. The draft. There is no surprises that are going to take place at number one. It's all been assured for quite some time now that Cooper Flagg, the freshman out of Duke, is going to be the number one player selected. Rightfully so. He was the best player in college this past season. The hype has been real. This was a guy who we've heard about for at least 3 years now in talks about being the number one pick when he decided to enter the NBA draft. Now we're here. He was part of, I don't want to say the Olympic team last year because he wasn't, but he was part of the team that comes in and works out with them. So I think he proved himself in those moments. There were NBA guys on last year's Olympic team who said themselves he was ready to play last year in the league. And then he has the year in Duke. Has a great freshman year, do-it-all player, still has room to grow. And if you're the Dallas Mavericks, I think this is the ideal situation to bring in a young guy like this who can be the cornerstone of your franchise that you hope, barring injury, of course. That's always the biggest if in all these scenarios. But a guy who can have this type of high upside, this guy who could be your face of the franchise for the next 10, 12, 15 years, but also have the great blend of having two very good high-level veterans, all-star veterans, and Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis already in the mix. And so you put all that together and you have the potential for a team that can be very good next year, right away, adding this number one pick with those two all-stars and gives you a chance to probably be good for a very long time. Like I said, if Cooper Flagg is everything we expect him to be. So we got to get into the questions. We got to get into some of the comments. We're going to start with the Dallas Mavericks, obviously, because it's the most obvious. At number one. Shout out to my man, Ren. I see you over on Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram watching, just be patient with me because I am flipping back and forth to get the comments and questions from over there. I can't put it on the screen, but I'm going to mention his statement. He said he wants Queen to the Wizards. He's talking about Derek Queen, local product, the big man, 6'9", freshman out of Maryland. He was one of the guys, Ren, that Combo and I talked about yesterday. That is his range in the draft. He's projected to go somewhere between 8 and 12. If the Wizards get him, I think it's a great pick. We talked about it in terms of where his basketball IQ is, where his skill set is right now. And again, the ability to grow. Him and Cooper Flagg are two of the young guys in this draft who reclassified, who really should be going into their freshman year of college, but because they reclassified and kind of went into college early, they're going to be in an NBA earlier than anticipated. And so he's a guy who, if you're the Wizards or anybody for that matter in that 8 to 10 range, you love what you're getting from him. The biggest question mark with him is going to be his defense. He's 6'9", so he's not a true 5. But he's not a super athlete So if he's playing the four, your concerns are really going to be how is he going to handle some of these stretch fours and some of these small lineups that we really see in the NBA now. You think about the teams that were just in the NBA Finals and how they play their lineups, and you look at even if you look at the teams who were the Final Four this year, Timberwolves, Oklahoma City Thunder, Knicks, Pacers. You look at the guys who play the four position for them: Pascal Siakam, Julius Randle, right? Karl Anthony Towns. For OKC, it's a number of different guys. If they go with their two bigs, it's going to be Chet Holmgren. But at times they will downgrade and downsize, and then you might be out there with Lou Dort or Jalen Williams playing that four position. These guys are all super athletic and get up and down the court. And if you have a slow-footed traditional big like Queen trying to guard those guys, that could be trouble. But ultimately, if you're the Wizards, if you're able to get Queen, it's a great pick. Some people again might say it's a reach because the Wizards are sitting at 6. Queen, and by most projections, is expected to go somewhere in the 8 to 12 range. But overall, I think he's a very, very good player. You would be happy if you get him. Another guy I think is Ace Bailey. I know we're going to get into Ace Bailey in a second. Shout out to Tyson. I'll start with that one. It wasn't the first comment of the night. Shout out to Ron Charles, who had the first comment of the night. And we're going to get to that. But since we're talking Wizards, no, not that one there. Hold on. There was another one for Ace Bailey. I thought I saw up here. You know what? Let's just start from the top. And we'll start with Ron Charles. Could Jeremiah Fears be an all-star player? Shout out to Ron, showing a lot of support. Definitely appreciate you, my brother. It's going to be tough. He can be. He's got the potential. But one of the things I talked about yesterday in regards to Fears is he's an undersized guard. He's 6'2". And unless you're playing at a very high level as a 6'2" guard, again, you're talking Jalen Brunson type production. It's hard to be an all-star guard at that size. I also think the defensive side of the ball is going to be his biggest issue at 6'2". There aren't going to be very many guys that he can guard. He's going to have to rely on his speed and quickness. He's going to have to rely on a lot of the things that Jalen Brunson does as an undersized guard. You got to draw a lot of charges. You got to just be pesky and be in the way. You're never going to be probably a stalwart defensive guy who causes a bunch of defensive issues. But just use your speed and athleticism to stay in front of guys and kind of be a pest. That's really the best thing you can hope for. Offensively, I think the skills are there. If he gets the opportunity and he's kind of given some freedom to let his offensive game show, I think offensively he has those tools to be an all-star caliber player. Again, the limitations of his height is going to be the biggest issue for him. And, you know, that's out of his control. He's 6'2", he is what he is. He's got to work his way around that. Ron also wants to know, is there a sleeper in this NBA draft that can make an impact right outside so-called lottery picks? Yes. My favorite guy is Walter Clayton Jr. Out of Florida. We know about the tournament run he had. What I like about him most, I like the diversity in his offensive game. And I like that he's a little older. He's 22 years old. So he comes in as a little bit of a more mature player. And he has a better feel for his game than I think some of these other guys are going to have right away. That's not to say that some of these other guys can't be impact players. But if you're asking me who's a sleeper outside of the lottery, I think it's Walter Clayton Jr., depending on where he lands. Because we got to get into Brooklyn, too, because Brooklyn has a lot of picks in that 19 to like 27 range where they could, if they don't make a deal tonight, and I think they will, and we'll get to them next. If he doesn't land in a situation like that, I don't want him to go to Brooklyn because they just don't have the right structure. But if he were to land in Oklahoma City, where they'll develop him, if he were to land with the Clippers at 30, if he was to land with Miami, I think those type of places is where you could see the best value for Walter Clayton Jr. because he would end up in a situation with good coaching, good structure, and they'll know how to use him best, again, as a more mature player who doesn't rely so much on athleticism, but just overall skill. But Walter Clayton Jr. to me is the sleeper, my personal sleeper. I mentioned the Brooklyn Nets. And I think tonight we got to be careful. The Brooklyn Nets have 5 first-round picks in tonight's draft, right? They're at number 8. They're at number 19. They're at 22. They're at 26, 27. And then they have an early second-round pick at 36. First and foremost, I don't think they're drafting 5 players in the first round tonight. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll admit later on and say, hey, I didn't see that coming. But it's very rare that a team is going to bring on 5 first-round picks onto their roster, especially if you're the Nets. You're rebuilding as is. At some point, you got to bring in some quality NBA-ready guys right now who can make an impact as opposed to this group of 5 young guys who are all trying to prove themselves, who are all trying to gain minutes in the NBA, who are all trying to show they're worthy of being rotational guys. On an NBA roster, you only dress 12 guys every night. You only carry 15 contracts. To tell me 5 of those guys are going to be drafted this year, I don't believe it. I talked about it last night. I've talked about it in the past. Ja Morant is a guy I think is going to get traded very soon from Memphis. I may sound, when this is all said and done, I can sound like a genius if it happens tonight. But I just feel like the Brooklyn Nets, with all those picks, they're making a trade tonight. Something is going to happen tonight. Whether they decide to package 3 of those picks and right away go after a guy like Ja Morant, who could be the star and the face of their franchise and a much-needed boost of energy to the Brooklyn Nets, or if they're going to package some of the picks and get some more future assets and kind of do the Sam Presti thing where you kind of kick the can further down the road and just keep acquiring more picks further down the road for an eventual move. But that's going to be something to pay attention to, because there is no way that the Brooklyn Nets are going to keep all 5 first-round picks tonight. They're going to make a trade at some point. Do they trade up for somebody they really want? You know, they're at 8 right now. I don't know if they can get, they probably want to get to number 4 to see if they can get VJ Edgecombe or Ace Bailey. They probably would like to get up to 4 to see if they can get an impact young guard like that right away. But if they can't, I want to know how many of these picks are they going to be willing to move tonight, because there's no way. I'm willing to bet money on that. There is no way they're going to keep all 5 of those picks, select 5 rookies coming in, and have 5 rookies on that roster next year. It's not going to happen. Also, another team to keep an eye on, Oklahoma City Thunder. Shout out to, I believe, was it Ron Apple? Yeah, he did. I wonder what your Thunder will do in the draft. I appreciate the association with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm a Knicks fan, but I have been rooting and speaking very highly of the Oklahoma City Thunder for the last few years. So I came across this, it looked good that I was ahead of the curve, and now they won an NBA championship. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is just coming off of one of the greatest individual seasons that the NBA has ever seen. 4th player to ever win regular season MVP, win the scoring title, win an NBA championship and finals MVP. First guy to do that. In terms of total points, he ends up, I think, somewhere in a range of like 8th best individual season in terms of total points by a player. So an overall great season by Shai. But for the Thunder tonight, they're another team that I think is going to make a trade. So as I talked about, you normally have 12 players that are dressed. You normally keep about 15 total contracts on the books. Oklahoma City cap issues, they're not even in that range. They don't have to worry about cap issues. They're in the best of situations that we've probably ever seen in the NBA in terms of winning a championship, having a super young roster, having control over those contracts. They don't have anybody who they've got to make a tough decision on financially right away. They have a bunch of picks moving forward. Tonight, 2 picks in the first round. They got the 16th and the 24th pick. They have one in the second round. That second round one will probably be kind of a draft and stash. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a guy that they draft overseas and leave him there. It might even happen with the first round picks as well. But at 16 and 24, I think one of those picks probably get moved. Again, they already have 15 guys under contract next year. So to draft somebody in the first round that's going to get a guaranteed contract, it's got to be somebody that you really, really like. It's probably a draft and stash, or unless they have another move in the works, a trade with someone else that's currently on their roster, maybe Lou Dort. I don't think it will happen, but again, maybe Lou Dort. Maybe you're trading one of those young perimeter guys, Wiggins or Wallace. Maybe you're looking to make a move in that sense. But their roster is set. They don't need to do anything with those first round picks. But the fact that they still have a 16th and what most people consider a very deep draft could get very interesting. And again, they have a bunch of picks moving forward. I think Sam Presti moves one of those first round picks. Now, we'll see what the strategy becomes as the night goes on. Maybe as we get into the range of the 9th, 10th, 11th pick, we'll start to see if Oklahoma City is trying to move up to get a guy, or if they're going to trade that 16th pick and move back and create and collect more assets. But I think ultimately they're going to make a trade with one of these first round picks tonight. and just acquire more assets. They don't need anything on their current roster. It's the luxury they have. It's a crazy situation to be in, to be this good, be the NBA champions, have your whole roster under contract already. Don't have to make a move, and yet you still have these 2 first-round picks that you can add on more talent, or like I said, take somebody over in Europe and draft and stash them. So I expect OKC to at least make one trade tonight, to answer your question, Ron. Also, we'll stay right there with Ron. Of course, Cooper Flag gets all the hype. Is there a chance at all he doesn't live up to the expectations? Could he be an Adam Morrison? I don't think he'll be an Adam Morrison type player. Ren, I'm gonna get to your statement in a second. I don't think he could be an Adam Morrison type player. I think he's too skilled. I think he's too versatile. He's a guy that is great with or without the ball in his hands. He has defensive impact. His skill level was just far too high. Adam Morrison was a high usage guy at Gonzaga who struggled to adjust to the NBA game. He never was really a super quick athlete. He was just a guy who was a volume kind of shooter. Cooper Flag is not that. Cooper Flag is a great athlete with already good defensive instincts and already has some parts of his offensive game, I think, that are going to be impactful right away. He's still got to learn some things offensively. He's still got to become more consistent with his jump shot. But overall, just his physical presence alone, I think, is going to make him an impact guy because he can affect on both sides of the court. So is there a chance? Yeah, there's always a chance you don't live up to expectations. You're going to be the number 1 pick. So when it's all said and done, you're expected to be the best player in this draft class. I think the landing spot, though, is what makes it tough for him not to live up to the expectations, because you get this great combination of Jason Kidd as a good head coach, Anthony Davis as a future Hall of Famer big, Kyrie Irving as a future Hall of Famer point guard. And you're learning from these 3 guys as you get the luxury of growing into your game. He's 18 years old. He's 18. So at the very least, if you told me that next year he'll come in and probably average 14 and 7, I would say that's a pretty good rookie year for most guys who are 18 years old. You add into the mix, like I said, the things he's going to learn from these guys. He's inevitably going to be a guy who's a 20 and 10 guy in the NBA. Shout out to Combo. Again, we did the live yesterday. Combo, his player comp for Cooper Flag was Kevin Garnett. If we're talking about Cooper Flag being anything close to what Kevin Garnett was as a total player, as a total package, there's no way he can't live up to the expectations. So I think he lives up to the expectations. Adam Morrison, I think that's way off. I think that's more of us using, because Adam Morrison was white, Cooper Flag was white. Cooper Flag's game resembles nothing of Adam Morrison. He's going to be a way better player than Adam Morrison was. Again, shout out to the supporters, man. Appreciate you guys for rocking with me on a Wednesday night. Will Gordon will be joining the live at some point tonight. It'll probably be as the draft is starting, and we'll be talking about some things that are going on during the draft, as well as giving you just a funny take on some of the most disrespectful movie characters. That's the topic for tonight. Keeping it lighthearted. Get some laughs in. Have a good conversation. Shout out to Reno on Instagram. He said, is there a chance Queen lasts to the Wizards' second first-round pick at 18? I don't think he does. Then he follows up by saying Ace Bailey and Queen in the first round for the Wizards. Yeah, that would be a great scenario. I don't think he does, though. When you look at, I think if you get past, if Ace Bailey, let's say, gets past the Wizards at 6, and then the Pelicans at 7. The Pelicans at 7 especially. Remember, they just made the trade of C.J. McCollum. They would love to add a guy like Ace Bailey to the mix there. So I don't see him getting past 7. But even if he does, Brooklyn at 8, if they don't trade that, Brooklyn is definitely taking Ace Bailey. Toronto, it could be tricky there. They've got RJ in the mix. They've got Emmanuel quickly. I don't know if they would want to bring in Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey is a volume scorer, volume shooter. So I don't know if that would be the best situation for him. So I don't make Toronto probably no. Phoenix at 10, probably no again. They already got Jalen Green in the mix. You got Devin Booker, of course, who's the cornerstone of the franchise. Probably not. 11 doesn't make much sense with Portland. But then when you get to 12, if Bailey's there, I don't know if the Bulls can pass on Ace Bailey. So for Washington to get for Queen to drop, and Ace Bailey, one of them is going to be gone. Like I said, Ace Bailey, I don't think drops that far. For Queen, if we do that same type of exercise, I don't think Queen would get past. I think Atlanta at 13 would be a great spot. And I know they just made the move for Porzingis. I don't think they would let him pass. Yeah, I don't know if Memphis will let him pass at 16, especially since there's been rumors about Memphis possibly trading Jaren Jackson Jr. So they both don't drop that far. I think both of them, once we get into that range of 12, 13, 14, I don't think they go that far down. I think both those guys, once you get into that range, will be off the board, Brent. I'm sorry to break it to you, man. You're going to have to get one or the other. And I think there's a real chance you could get Ace Bailey at 6 and then see what's available for you later on. Shout out to all the supporters, man. Greatly appreciate you guys. I can tell, guys, everybody's excited about tonight. It's the draft. It's what happens, man. Everybody wants to know what's going on with their team, what they can do. Tyson, I put the comment up early. We're going to get to it now. He said, I've only seen him 3 times, but Dylan Harper doesn't wow me. So Dylan Harper's going to be a future all-star in this league. Dylan Harper lands with the Spurs. I think it is a great landing spot when you consider what they already have in the mix. Obviously, Wembanyama is the star of the franchise. But to be able to pair Dylan Harper with De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt, I think would be great. One of the issues, Dylan Harper, and this goes to Ace Bailey as well, those guys were at Rutgers, and they both were hunting their own numbers. And what they needed, Rutgers didn't have it, but what they needed was a little bit more of like senior leadership, somebody who could actually run some offense for those 2 guys, as opposed to those guys kind of playing your turn, my turn, coming down the court and just looking for their own shot. So Dylan Harper in San Antonio, he gets that. He gets the veteran point guard in De'Aaron Fox. If Chris Paul sticks around, that's even better as a vet coming off the bench. And then you get the kind of the ease of knowing this is Victor's show. I'm kind of the compliment to Victor. And I think Dylan Harper would be great there. If Dylan Harper slides beyond that point, I don't think Philly or Charlotte would be great for him. But I do think Utah could be a great landing spot. So Dylan Harper, I think, is going to be fine. And I think Dylan Harper is going to be a really good player at the next level. Don't let what happened at Rutgers kind of get in the way of his overall skill. That was a tough situation in Rutgers. Him and Ace Bailey had a lot of expectation, but they didn't have a true point guard that could really get them involved and kind of take over for them. They kind of had to keep playing your turn, my turn. I didn't like that for them. Shout out to Devontae Harris. He got a couple questions up here. Kyrie Irving lands an extension with the Mavs. Yeah, 3 years, $119 million. Stephen A. Smith said Kyrie got lowballed. Kyrie did not get lowballed. And Stephen A. Smith, again, I've said a couple of times, Stephen A. has been on these rants recently where it's all about clickbait for Stephen A. First of all, Kyrie Irving is 32, going to be 33 by the start of the season. He had 1 year left at $43 million, right? The Mavs and Kyrie have had a great relationship since Kyrie's gotten there. And I give Kyrie a lot of credit. I was very critical of Kyrie in Brooklyn, but I think Kyrie in Dallas has worked out really, really well. Kyrie has shown great leadership there. And Kyrie has bought into what the organization is trying to do. So they ripped that up and they create a new deal. And instead of him playing on an expiring deal, they say, let's just make this a 3-year deal right at about $40 million a year. I don't understand how Stephen A. can say he got lowballed. He was set to make $43 million this year. They said, instead of you just getting $43 million, we're just going to add on 2 more years. It's almost adding on 2 more years to what you already had at about $40 million a year. When you consider small guards mostly don't age well in the NBA. So he's 32, about to be 33 years old. This deal is going to carry him to about 36, making $40 million a year. I think it's a great deal for both ends. Dallas is showing a lot of respect, even though Kyrie has had an injury history in the past and was injured last year, but they're still showing a level of commitment to Kyrie Irving. And on the flip side, Kyrie is locking in, understanding that with him and Anthony Davis in the mix, the Mavs do have a window to be very competitive over the next 2 to 3 years. So I think it's a win-win for both sides. Dallas gets a contract that fits their current window. Kyrie is able to get a contract and not have to go into the season worrying about playing for a new deal. And then both teams move on as business as usual, because then they're going to draft Dallas, that is, is going to draft Cooper Flag with the number 1 pick tonight. So I think Stephen A is off base with that. That's, to me, that sounds more like clickbait. Devontae also wants to know, Boston trading Porzingis and Holiday. Do you like what Boston got back? I do. Boston was in a very, very tricky situation. As I previously highlighted before, they had to get under that second apron cap. They know next year was going to be a tough year regardless, even if they tried to run it back with their team. With no Jason Tatum, they probably weren't going to be in the mix for an NBA championship. Could they be a playoff team? Absolutely. Jaylen Brown is one of the top 20 guys in the league. You got a good head coach. You got some good pieces with Derek White, with Pritchard. You could still be a very good playoff team, a very good competitive team. But they weren't going to be a championship team. They had to get underneath that second apron. Drew Holiday just looked a little old, especially last year in the series against the Knicks. He didn't look like the same person that he was the year before when they won it all. So they move on from him and they get Anthony Simons. Anthony Simons to me is a unique player here because he'll start while Tatum is out. But I think ultimately they go with him is to develop him in a way that he becomes like kind of their super sub, their 6-man. Because when Tatum comes back, you don't need Simon scoring. You don't need what he brings as a starter anyway. You need it more off the bench. As a starter, Derek White is still going to be your starting guard. Whether he's the 1 or the 2 remains to be seen. But he's going to be your starting guard. Then you'll have Tatum and Brown back at some point. And so you'll look for a defensive guy to go next to those guys. Shout out to Will Gordon. Will, let me know when you're ready. Give me the thumbs up. We'll bring you on the live. So I like the moves. George Niang is the player they get back in the Porzingis trade. They had to move on from Porzingis. The injuries, the inconsistency with him, yes, when he was on the court, he was amazing. But you really couldn't rely on him. He missed way too many games the last 2 years. And think about it. They won an NBA championship last season in spite of him missing all those playoff games, right? Now, it showed this year. Last year, they did get the benefit of facing teams that were dealing with their own injuries, and so they were able to get through without Porzingis. This year, when they needed Porzingis, he wasn't available enough for them, and they had to move on. So I think the Celtics, and specifically Brad Stevenson, did a great job. Brad Stevens did a great job of getting quality returns. George Niang is a stretch 4. He's not going to be as impactful as Porzingis. We know that. But he gives you some shooting. He gives you some things there. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Al Horford. But ultimately, this was more about the financials with the Boston Celtics. So for me, I think they did the right thing. They understood next year's probably going to be a punt year. You're not competing for a championship next year without Jason Tatum. So why would we pay this luxury tax again? These 2 trades alone are going to save them about $180 million in repeated tax penalties next year. So they did the right thing, I feel. We got my brother in the building. Mr. Unpopular Opinion himself.
What they do? What they do, baby?
Here we go.
Listen, How you feel, man?
I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
Real good, man. I'm good with you. What I missed?
I just been going over some of the draft questions tonight. I got
Who up in here? Who all up in here?
We got Ron Charles. We got Tyson. We got Devontae Harris. We got on IG. We got my man Ren. He had some Wizards questions actually. So since you're here,
oh hey family, what's up?
Yeah, he a Wizards fan. So
all the supporters, all the usual suspects. Good to see y'all.
Yeah. I can't post the comments from IG over on this side, but I can tell you what he had stated. He stated he wants Derek Queen with the Wizards pick at 6.
Agreed.
Then he wanted to know, he's like, is there a chance Queen slips where they would be able to get him with their 18th pick? I said, I don't think he'll drop that low. Yeah. His ultimate dream was that they could get Ace Bailey at 6 and then Queen slips and you get him at 18. I don't think that happens. But if you do, I mean, it's a great night for the Wiz if it happens.
Who is this that was saying this?
This one of my friends from work.
I want to give him his proper due. As a fellow Wizard fan.
Yeah, he's super excited that y'all got rid of Jordan Poole. He said fuck a pool party.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so I'll start there with Jordan Poole getting traded. I'm good with it. Because I think it's a bigger picture behind it. Because when you talk about bringing back CJ McCollum back and Kelly Olynyk, who I didn't even know was still in the league, and what they get a pick swap or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about the picks. I'm never worried about the picks. But I'm looking at the player. We get back CJ McCollum, who probably won't be on the team by the trade deadline. He's an expiring contract. He's not going to bring you any value at all to the roster or what you're trying to do moving forward. He's basically he's Timu Bradley Bill, basically. Like remember how me and you used to have the conversations about how Bradley Bill was the most regular guard in the NBA, but CJ McCollum is that guy. But without the fan support that Bradley Bill got in DC. So I don't expect him to be there. But what that trade told me was, all right, so really the one dude that could get you buckets anytime was Poole on that roster. When you look up and down the roster, he was the only bucket really. So when you're clearing him out, that's telling me you got to be, if you're trying to win basketball games, which as a Wizard fan, I question that constantly. But if you're trying to win basketball games and you move on from Jordan Poole, that tells me you're trying to make space for somebody. And what I was thinking was with the draft being tomorrow, clearing out that space for, there's obviously a role to be filled. There's all kind of minutes and buckets available now. Are we gonna move up in the draft? Are we trying to, not to 1? Of course we ain't going to 1, but to 2 or 3? Is it guys at the top of the draft like Dylan Harper, or do you want to ensure that Ace Bailey doesn't get snatched up, or the guard from it's another guard from I think Houston or Texas?
You talking about Tennessee, VJ Edgecombe?
Yeah. So are you talking to one of those guys and worried that they're not going to be there at 6? And do you want to move up to go get that guard that you can put on the side of the building, Or are you going to wait? Because I think wholeheartedly that Derek Queen is going to be there at 6. And that's ultimately when the lottery balls fell the way they did, I felt like our best case scenario was to go get Derek Queen at 6. He's a young kid who has mountains of potential. We all saw that all season long, and then he showed improved in the tournament. He's a local product, which I'm always good with keeping guys home, and I think he's a guy that would actually not mind staying home. When a kid like that can go anywhere in the country to play college basketball stays home, that tells me he wouldn't mind. You know what I mean? If he wanted to branch out, he would have did that for college. So I feel like if he came to the Wizards, that's best case scenario for him. Best case scenario for us as a franchise at 6, being able to pump that local product. But getting him at 18, I just don't see that happening. He's not dropping that far. I'm not a big mock draft guy, but the lowest I've seen him in the mocks was 15, and I'm seeing him more constantly around 11, 12. Screw that. Don't get cute. Don't overthink it. If he's sitting there at 6, you go get your guy. Don't go get somebody that we've never seen before from France. Don't get don't get cute. Don't overthink it. If that kid's sitting there, you take him.
So I think with the Wiz at 6, and it'll be interesting to see what Philly and Charlotte do. I think Utah's without a doubt targeting a guard at 5. Philly and Charlotte could be the wild cards because there's a couple of things you said that I wanted to get to. The one, the trading up. I think that's a real possibility if you're the Wizards. I think that's a real possibility if you're the Nets. The Nets, I started off the live tonight talking about the Nets have 5 first-round picks. They're not drafting 5 guys tonight. All right?
No.
They're looking to move up from 8. And so that pick with Philly at 3 gets really interesting. I know Ace Bailey, by most projections, a lot of people had him as the number 3 guy in the draft. I can't see Philly taking Ace Bailey. They already have Maxey in the fold, and they drafted Jared McCann last year.
Yeah.
To bring Ace Bailey into that situation makes absolutely no sense, especially when it looks like, unless they have some type of trade for Embiid or George, they're going to still try to be a playoff contention team next year. So bringing Ace Bailey in doesn't make sense. I think Philly trades out of that spot, and that's probably where, if you're the Wizards, you're trying to see, could 6 and 18 get you up to number 3? Same thing with the Nets. I think they're trying to get to number 3 in front of Charlotte and Utah to get the guy you want. But if you're the Wiz, if you can get Ace Bailey at 6, I think that would be a great pickup at that point. If you get Queen, I completely understand why you take Queen there. And there's another guy that I think would be really good with you guys, Will, and that's Trey Johnson, the point guard out of Texas. Those are the three guys I'm paying attention to. If you can get one of those three guys, if you're the Wiz, it's a successful night. In terms of the CJ McCollum, hey Princess,
Hi.
how you doing?
Good.
So in terms of like the guys you talk about the Wizards brought in, what I'm seeing from the Wizards, and it's a conversation you and I've had. We've had it for 2 years now. I've been saying the Wizards got to create an identity for themselves. They don't have an identity, and by them, if you look at the vets they brought in, they're trying to bring some real grown-ups in the room. Now, if those guys are there, if those guys actually play, it'd be something different. But when you go get Chris Middleton, when you go get CJ McCollum, when you go get Marcus Smart, you're basically saying we need to bring in quality vets who can at least contribute right now. You know what I'm saying? Are these moves that put you over the top and make you a title contender? Absolutely not. But we can't keep running it back, giving Corey Kispert 25 minutes a night. You know what I'm saying? We can't keep giving minutes to guys who shouldn't be out there. We got to get quality vets in. And so I think that's what they're doing. If CJ McCollum stays, ultimately we'll see. Maybe he becomes a piece in another trade. But it looks like the Wizards are just trying to create an identity of like, man, let's bring in some real quality vets, some real hoopers in here who can play some ball and make us respectable, and then build around the young guys that we do have, right? You got the young guys that you drafted last year. You're probably going to get another young guy in this year. But those young guys aren't ready to win a lot of basketball games. And that's where these vets are going to come in. And the Wizards are kind of creating this balance with established vets and some young guys that you draft. I think tonight could be a good night for the Wizards because, like I said, if it's not Ace Bailey dropping, I think Trey Johnson out of Texas, the 6'4" guard, would be a great pick for you guys at 6. And then if you want to go Queen, I completely understand it. Combo and I talked about it yesterday. You were on the live yesterday, Will, where you heard him say, in terms of IQ and basketball skill, Queen might be the best big man in this draft, right? At 6'9", you come in, you know right away what you're getting, a high IQ guy who can score the basketball right away. And as a local product, he understands the area and there's a certain connection there. So those are the three guys I'm looking at. Queen, Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson. I think any one of those guys, if you're the Wiz, you get one of them, it's a good night. Let me see what some of the other ones we had here. I talked about the Nets. Like I said, I don't think the Nets.
The Nets. I got my thoughts on the Nets. What was the comment on the Nets before?
There was no comment. I just said, me personally, when I look at the Nets, they got 5 first-round picks tonight. Now, the NBA roster.
Wait, the draft was tonight? I thought it was tomorrow. It's tonight, yo.
It's tonight. It's just started right now.
It's been one of them weeks, man. I was thinking it was tomorrow. I would have worn my Wizards gear today.
Normally it is on Thursdays. The NBA, for whatever reason, this year did Wednesday. But the Nets have 5 first-round picks. Now, throughout the season, you only dress 12 guys. You only keep 15 contracts. Ain't no way they bring on 5 rookies onto the roster this year. My thinking is they're making a move. They're probably going to try to go from 8 up. They're sitting on picks 8, 19, 22, 26, 27. They got a bunch of picks in the 20s. They're looking to move up, and I think if they can't move up, I would not be surprised if they're trying to package 2 or 3 of those picks to go after a player and to make a trade for a player tonight. John Morant's the guy I'm paying attention to.
Damn it!
Yeah,
you got to steal my thunder. That's what I was waiting on. I think that's what I was going to say. I think that because I thought the draft was tomorrow, so I thought it was going to be some more time to, to work things out. But with all the picks and everything else, I was like, okay, they're going to target somebody, but I didn't think it was going to be somebody in the draft because, New York ain't really the city to be building around maybes. You know what I mean? So I was going to say, I could see them throwing a good package together to get John in New York. That was going to be my thought, because I could see a team like Brooklyn, big market. He's a big personality player. The market matches the personality, and even though it's New York, it ain't the Knicks, but they've been needing that guy that's gonna. Because ever since Brooklyn came, ever since they moved from Jersey, they never really had. You tried to do the Paul Pierce KG thing when they were both well beyond their years. And nothing you've done has really panned out as far as getting a marquee star, a contemporary, current, relevant marquee star in
Well,
that building.
They got KD.
Well, oh yeah, but then the injuries and all derailed that. The foot on the line. Who knows what would have happened if his toe wasn't on the line? So yeah, that is correct. Yeah, KD did get there, but he was there what, 2 seasons?
2.5, 3 seasons
Yeah.
tops.
So it's never been really a guy that is going to be there for like that 3 to 5 year span. That's a marquee guy that's going to be somebody that you could market around, somebody you can get the fans excited about, and somebody that you're going to invest in that you can see being there potentially for a long time. So this would be Ja's second contract, right? The next contract he signs,
Yeah,
and
he's already into that second deal.
oh, so I could see him wanting to move forward in that market. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't. It's not like I know the kid enough. Maybe he likes that small town kind of thing. But I can see. I think Brooklyn needs him, and I think he needs Brooklyn to kind of elevate himself as far as the pantheon in the NBA and to get recognized the way he should with the talent that he has. I kind of think all that gets dimmed in a city and on a team like Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time for a change of scenery there. Memphis,
And not to cut you off, some of that's his fault.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean?
He got to take responsibility for that too. Yeah, that's a fact. Some of that is his own doing. But I think one is time for a change of scene there. Memphis, I believe, is going into a full rebuild. You don't fire your head coach the way you do at the end of the season unless you feel like you're going in a completely different direction. And then you trade Desmond Bane right out the gate. So that to me lets me know. Also, Jaren Jackson's doing a new contract soon. So you got to make a tough decision on who you're deciding to build around. If you're going to give Jaren Jackson a new contract, Josh probably not going to be a guy. Like, they haven't had enough success for me to be convinced that you just say, oh, just run it back. Like, we let's keep running it back with these two guys. For what? They have done nothing. They have won nothing together. So why would you keep running it back?
I think you either build around Jaren Jackson or you blow the whole thing up.
And that's why I think Ja gets traded. Because like I said, you give Jaren Jackson a new deal and you build it around him, or you just say, hey, look, we're just hitting restart. The West is too tough right now. The West, we know OKC is the top team, the top dog in the West. But you look at what Dallas is about to become. You look at what the Spurs are about to become. You look at the move Houston just made. Denver's still going to be in the mix. Know the Clippers, Lakers, and Warriors are all playoff teams. Minnesota, there's too many good teams in the West. If you're Memphis,
you just named the whole. You just named 1 through 8 for next
right there. Right, that's what I'm saying. And Memphis wasn't one of them. So if you're Memphis, you move on from Ja. And for Brooklyn, to your point, and this is why I do like Ja there. When Kevin Durant went there was a lot of uncertainty because he had the injury. So he didn't play that first year there, right? So even though on paper it's like, yeah, we got Kevin Durant, one, you couldn't really market it because he wasn't on the court. And two, you didn't know if he was going to be the MVP Kevin Durant. He was coming off of a real bad injury, missing a whole year. With Ja Morant, you get to market it from day one. You get one of the most exciting guards in the NBA. You get him in Brooklyn and you build the show around him and you can market him differently. So I think that's the guy that Brooklyn would like to get tonight. I think they would love to make the move to try to see if they can get Ja Morant, but we're going to see. And it's official. Cooper Flag is the number 1 pick. They just got announced. No surprise there. Will, let's get into the topic we want to get into tonight. All right, because I think this is going to be a good one. I think we're going to have a lot of jokes. I want to hear your list. I could not come up with 5. I'm not going to lie.
You know what?
The reason I could not come up with 5 because when I put out the topic, for the people that are rocking with us right now, again, we got YouTube buzzing, we got Facebook buzzing, we got IG buzzing. Appreciate you guys for rocking with us. And I'm flipping back and forth between IG to see if we got any comments over there as well. When I said most disrespectful, I think the one guy that we talked about set the bar so high. I was looking for that level of disrespect.
Open it up. Pause. Go ahead and let the people know how we roll tonight.
Let's get to it, right? Before we do as well, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Sanchez Show. We do this live every Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. This is for the culture. This ain't just sports. This is the culture. We talking movies. We talking music. We talking anything and everything that involves the culture. So tonight's topic is most disrespectful movie characters. When I say disrespectful, I mean somebody that made you want to punch them in their motherfucking face if you had to live through that experience with them. Somebody that if you had that type of encounter with them, you like, yo, I would try to knock you the fuck out. I'm gonna start with the number one guy, like I said, that I felt, man, this dude right here it's one of the wildest movies. It's a couple of scenes in the movie, but he's just overall, it's crazy. I'm gonna say, like, the guy who inspired the list, Cuddy from Dead Presidents. Now, y'all might know him as Pinky from Friday, from Friday series, right? But he's Cuddy. He's a pimp in Dead Presidents. And for those of you that didn't see Dead Presidents, shame on you. It's a classic movie. You should be familiar. But if you're not familiar, he's a pimp in the movie. The main character, played by Lawrence Tate, is a young man. And the whole story takes place in the Bronx. But he's a young man who goes off to war. He fights in Vietnam. He comes back home to find out, obviously, that his high school sweetheart, who had got pregnant right before he left, he's trying to kind of patch things up. They've been distant because he was away at war. He was away in the army. And there's this two scenes, really. There's the first scene when him and his girl is in the car having a little moment, alone time. His daughter sleep in the back seat, and him and his girl start kissing.
Oh my God.
And then the pimp pulls up nice and slow in the cat with a lollipop. Hey, baby girl. He pulls up on her and then says, and then this is where the disrespect really starts, right? Because first you see Anthony and his girl, Juanita, kissing. You interrupt the makeout session to say, I stopped by your mama's house today.
Yeah.
That's where it starts already. Like, hold on. He pulled up to your mother house. Oh, I work. And then she explained, I work late tonight. And where baby girl at? She back there asleep. Now he asking
Talking
for
about your daughter.
Talking about your daughter.
It's so
then casually flicks out about $100, like, go ahead and get her something nice.
Yeah.
And then when your girl say, I told you stop spoiling her, this motherfucker gonna say, somebody gotta do it.
Right. While Anthony's sitting right there.
Boiling.
And then when she tried to introduce him to Anthony, he pulled off. Yo. Cuddy was not playing.
Cuddy is number one on the list.
Then, no, we can't stop there with Cuddy.
No. I said that's remember in the movie. That's our introduction to Cuddy, because up until that point we had not seen Cuddy. So that's the introduction to Cuddy. Then there's the hallway. Then there's the all-time classic scene where Anthony, and if I remember correctly, that's after he just lost the job at the butcher shop.
Yeah, he was coming home with the meat that the butcher gave him because he felt bad for him. And it was Christmas time, wasn't it?
Christmas time.
Yeah.
He got the thick brown paper bag full of just a variety of different meats. Pause.
Bringing home the bacon, literally.
Yeah. And who does he see come walking out the apartment? Cuddy. And Cuddy
came out floating too, didn't he?
I was about to say he came out with a strut like the legs was loose a little bit.
Yeah, for real.
Like he been drained a little bit.
Yeah, he been drained.
He been drained.
He didn't weigh as much as he did coming out as he did walking in.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And Anthony, like most men, like, yo, stay the fuck away from my family.
Yeah.
Right? Because any man would be upset. Like, I just got the bad news. I got laid off. I'm already struggling out here as a vet, right? And I get laid off from my job. It's Christmas time. I got to walk up all these damn steps. And then I see Cuddy come strolling out with his jacket all undone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just casually walking down the hallway from my apartment.
Right.
And told him, stay the fuck away from my family, which then leads to the most disrespectful scene ever. Not only does he gun butt Anthony down the steps, he makes him open his mouth, put the gun in the mouth, yeah. And then I'm not even gonna go into the whole dialogue because I know you got your children there.
Hey kids, No, they good. They good. They ain't around.
but then proceeds to say, "You like the way she been loving on you, huh?" And I'm not using the real wording. He says, "You like the way she been loving on you, huh?" Yeah, I showed her that.
Yeah. Nah, it's clear airways right now. Wait, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm like, go ahead.
Yeah, right. You like the way she sucking your dick.
Yeah. Nah, this what she
Cuddies.
said. She said, no, he said, did she suck you? Fuck you the way she did before you went over there. Like, yeah. Because he did come home to that walk.
Yeah.
He's like, man. He's like, you like, what you been doing? You know what I'm saying? You know what's in his head.
Man.
You know what was in his head, man. Cuddy gotta go, dog.
Cuddy had to die, bro.
And Cuddy, and then the worst part, that's like when he got sentenced at the end.
Yeah.
I know Cuddy was outside the courtroom to pick a girl up. You already know.
Oh yeah. Cuddy was consoling her. Cuddy had to console her now.
That's crazy. We'll be beating that up till he ain't want to no more.
Yeah, Cuddy turned out after that. It turned out because she needed the bread at that point.
Yeah. She was probably on that stroll. She was definitely on that stroll after that.
Yeah, now you a single mother too.
You
know what I'm saying? You was already struggling. Now Anthony out the picture. Look what he did. He left you out here high and dry.
What a movie, man! If y'all ain't seen Dead Presidents, y'all need to figure out what y'all doing with y'all lives, man. That joint is like that. If you ain't seen it, go watch it this week before next Wednesday. You don't come back to the show if you ain't seen it by next Wednesday.
Sidebar: this might be a topic for another episode. Juanita's sister was better than Juanita.
Oh yes,
she was better than Juanita.
Absolutely. And she was down with Anthony too.
Yeah, when Anthony came home, you know what I'm saying? She had him thinking differently too.
Yeah.
Who you got? Well, let's get to somebody else on the list. Who you got?
All right. So let me see what I'm gonna come with first. Man, I could not stand Jenny from Forrest Gump.
Man, there's a lot of Jennies running around in this world too.
It is.
To this day, a lot of y'all Jennies out. But go ahead, man.
Because of Jenny from Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Jenny, man, did my dude so dirty through the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you took advantage of this dude. You took this dude's virginity. He ain't know what was happening. Like, you taking advantage of a mentally
I was about to say
challenged
dude. First of all, you gave pussy to a nigga that was retarded. That's first.
Right.
So you already
I was trying to skate on it. Like,
no, we gotta call it what it is. First of all, he wasn't even gonna respond the right way to the pussy after that.
Right.
He wasn't mentally capable of responding to it.
No, you pretty much when you gave him that thing,
yeah,
you put the curse on him right there. He was yours forever. Like it was like you made him like a vampire. Like you bit him, and now he you know what I'm saying, he's yours forever. And so first you took advantage of him that way. Dog him out. You smashing the whole whoever come along because you're a free spirit, quote unquote.
That they still call themselves free spirit today.
Yeah, it's free, all right. It's free because you're giving it away.
Yeah.
You disappear on him all this time. You give him AIDS. You sticking with the baby. You only pop up when he's popping. It's like and all that dude ain't want to do nothing but love that girl all this time. And she was for the streets.
That's it.
And just, man, his whole life was centered around his love for her.
That's it.
And all she did was every opportunity she had to shit on him, she did. Every opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And now that we're older,
I hate Jenny, man.
I agree. And now that we're older, we can really analyze the movie the right way. Like you said, she shitted on him for all them years, right? He was a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And what she did, she married him when she was used up, right? For the benefits.
For the bennies, yep.
For the benefits. Because now she get the benefits. She getting that VA treatment at the hospital when she running around with the virus.
So I thought she had the head or whatever. I saw a thing. I forget the dude that made the movie. I forget his name, but he said because everybody thought she assumed she died from the head in the movie. He said in his mind, and in the stuff that they cut out, it was from she actually died from Hep C. Okay, well, still, yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, that's okay. Now I get it. No, she was supposed to be. Yeah, exactly. Dog, my man, Forrest, man.
Yeah.
Dog, he ain't deserve that. He ain't deserve that life.
Right. She used him up, and she saw for what it was. You know what I'm saying? He was a veteran with a business, with a house, and now after the streets then kept tossing her and flipping her around, then it's like, I got Forrest to lean on.
And I was just about to say this, and it's kind of crazy. I was just about to say, I could see if he was just out here, just some gump out here in the street and deserved all that. And then I paused like, dang, the whole term gump came from him because of how he let Jenny walk all over him.
That's a
fact. Know what I'm saying? I almost used the term on the character about the character. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he was some sucker. He was just, he didn't know any better. He didn't have the mental capacity to know it, man.
She had him up there. Remember that time he ran down on her in the car with dude and had to pull homie out the car. Was beating his ass in the rain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Had him acting all crazy out here, trying to defend her honor type shit.
She was trash.
Super trash.
She's out of here.
Shout out. We got a couple comments on the IG side. First of all, Ren tried to say in terms of dead presidents that Juanita's sister wasn't better than Juanita. She was better than Juanita, Ren. Go back and watch the movie, man. The sister was bad. He said in terms of
wasn't that Nabushi right?
What happened?
Wasn't that Nabushi right?
I don't know her name. I just know it's Juanita's sister from
yeah.
I know that. He said in terms of disrespectful characters, he said Birdie from Above the Rim. That's Pot. He was disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? He ain't had to slash my man face like that. He ain't had to do him like that. They can't change what we were, man. They can't change what we were, man.
He got down on him too.
Yeah. He mentioned Marlo and Cheese from The Wire. I mean, they was grimy. I wouldn't say they was disrespectful. They was more grimy. But that's politics.
Marlo made my honorable mention.
Okay.
So he did make my honorable mention. I hated Marlo. I was Team Stansfield. Well, I hated Marlo, man. With his little golf club swinging.
Just to bring up the
corner.
With the draft going on in the background, Dylan Harper did go number 2 to the Spurs. VJ Edgecombe goes number 3 to Philly. So Ace Bailey is still on the clock. Charlotte is picking right now at number 4. I got one for you, Will. I think you agree. I wanted to beat this motherfucker ass. When it happened, when I went and rewatched the movie, Percy from the Green Mile.
Oh, yeah.
Super fucking disrespectful. I wish they would have just allowed him to get fucked up in that one scene.
Why didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why they didn't. You know what I'm saying? But when I was younger, I felt he was disrespectful. As I got older and rewatched it, I'm like, this motherfucker was super disrespectful. And he fits the criteria of somebody that you just want to break their jaw just because of the character they played. Because I forgot what movie it was that I saw him after that, and I still didn't like him purely based off how he played the role in Green Mile.
You know what? Would you say that about how you see him in another movie and you still didn't like him? I thought that was going to, well, shit was kind of giving. This ain't on my list, but it was going to be close. That's how I looked at Danny Glover. when after The Color Purple.
I have him on the list. I have him on the list. Yeah.
That's why I ain't want to go there because I didn't know if it was gonna ruin something.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool.
Listen,
it's a free flow list. So we go. You already know how that goes. You might have somebody I have on my list. You have somebody on yours.
But I was fisting the shade, Mister, man.
Yo, yeah. When we talk about disrespect, to this day, that meme still lives when he separated the girls.
Oh yeah.
That meme still floats around every now and then.
Yeah, I don't blame him for being on your list. He's well deserving of that spot.
Yeah. Who else you got?
At the top of my list, I'm gonna go ahead. He's been mentioned in another role already. He was good at playing the jerk. I gotta go with Bishop from Juice. Bishop, man, you the ultimate dude that I don't want around me ever in life.
Yep.
You the one every crew kind of had that. Every crew had an asshole in the crew. You know what I'm saying? Like even like growing up, everybody had that one dude that you hung out with just because. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just a close proximity in history is the only reason. Like you know what I'm saying, the people on your block or whatever, you went to school with them or whatever. It's the only reason. This dude always was negative. He wanted everybody to be negative like him. He had mental illness. You know what I'm saying?
Another one.
But he wanted everybody to be in the same negative space that he was in. And like he was always starting something. Every time there was a beef with like Rodamez and them, every time there was a beef with anybody, was all centered around him running his mouth or being out of pocket or doing some sucker type stuff. Like remember when there was an arcade and he was getting pressed up? And then when he said
his man to them coming around the corner.
When he said everybody else, now he all rah. Then, go further into the movie. When they robbed the liquor store, when they robbed the corner store, my bad, was that a bodega? I don't know how you New York cats are sensitive about that kind of thing. Was that a bodega? Was it a corner store? What do you call that?
It's without a doubt a bodega because the owner was Spanish. That's a bodega right there.
Okay, so they were in the bodega. He popped dude for no reason, and then he popped dude in the head for no reason. They leave. He tries to act like what you say, man, he made a move. Dude ain't make no kind of move. Then he gets into it with light skin. I forget what his name was in the movie. But I forget his damn Raheem.
Yeah.
Then he gets into it with Raheem. And then shoots Raheem in the chest right there 5 minutes after he just shot the corner store dude for no reason, the bodega owner for no reason. Then you shoot who's supposed to be your man. Then you try to go after Steele.
Yeah, he tried to go after Steele. He tried to kill everybody.
Yeah, you try to go after the whole crew. Like this, and these are supposed to be your friends. These are your friends. This is how you doing your friends. Man, Bishop, and the whole thing was he was on that Scarface persona, dog, you was never that. You was trying to be that, but you never really had that in you. Every time you did something like that, it was on some scared shit. But when you pop that corner store, the bodega owner in the head, you was on some scared shit. When you shot Raheem in the chest after y'all was just tussling around, you was scared. You was every time you was supposed to be tough, it was really you was being a bitch. I can't stand Bishop, man.
Yo, that movie we should revisit it one day in one of our topics because there's a lot of shit that when you go back now and you look at, like, man, there's a lot of shit to unpack in that movie, right?
That was a great movie, yeah.
Right, he's super disrespectful and he pussy, right? Because like you said,
right.
You know what I'm saying? When Rodamez ran down on, he only started acting tough when he seen his man coming down the block. But to your original point, you never want to do it around you like that because he is super fucking hater. That's one of them cats that are low-key hate on you and y'all be friends until he finds an opportunity to snake you.
Yeah, he's worse than your enemy.
Right, he worse than your enemy.
He's the enemy. He's the enemy masquerading as a friend. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, man.
Right. And so, like I said, but in terms of the movie as a whole, right? All that shit, you got that type of person around you. You know what I'm saying? He wants you to go out and commit crimes. Homie trying to go DJ that night. He trying to make his move that night, and you out here plotting a robbery. To you, that's more important than him chasing what he trying to do.
Right. No, like you supposed to be supporting him.
It never get talked about. Yo, Raheem was in high school fucking with a grown woman that was going through a divorce.
Right.
And nobody ever talks about that. Like, that shit was normal. And it be like that sometimes. We all know cats who was in high school fucking with an older woman.
Well, Q had the girl that worked at the record store. Wait, did she work at the record? Q had the chick from En Vogue. Where did she work at? That was Q that had that chick.
I mean, yeah.
Dawn from En Vogue. Wasn't that her? And I thought that was Q messing with her.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was Q messing with her. I was thinking right here for another situation. Yeah, because there's the situation where he going back with Big Mama.
Yeah,
it's Q.
It's 93, man. That's 93.
Yeah. It's Q, my fault. But he fucking with a woman way older than him who going through a divorce. And he chilling up in the crib when her husband come through. And we gotta have a conversation about that era too, because you look back, I feel like we aging differently. Because I look back at some of the pictures of them cats when they was in their 30s. They look washed the fuck up, bro. 30s and 40s back in the day.
Man, listen.
30s and 40s back in the day.
You seen when they talking about like the cast of Sanford and Son?
Yeah.
And the Jeffersons. No, George Jefferson was like 38.
Crazy.
With the mad cul-de-sac, the baldy on the top with the full Cody going around the side. My man was James Evans. James Evans was like 29, bro.
I was just about to say, wasn't James Evans like early 30s during good times?
I don't know what was going on back. I mean, look, if we keep it sports, look at dudes like Clyde Drexler in them.
Oh, Clyde.
Clyde Drexler was 25, looked like he was 37.
Clyde looked like he was 35 when he got drafted.
Man, I don't know what it was. Like they said black don't crack, Emma, but back then it was cracking off. Maybe it was the introduction of crack. but something was going on back in the day, man. I don't know what it was, man. They was looking like Danny Glover, as a matter of fact. Danny Glover was probably 35 and in The Color Purple. Because I know in Lethal Weapon, he was only like 38, 39. And he looked about 59 in Lethal Weapon. I'm too old for this shit. You look too old. Look too old for this shit for sure.
You really wasn't that old, but you look too old.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a couple comments over on Instagram too. They mentioned Denzel in Training Day, Debo from Friday. Debo was wild disrespectful.
Debo's on my list.
I didn't think about Debo because I guess
he's on my list.
You know why I think about Debo? Because everybody got a Debo, so you don't think about it there, but it's true. Wild disrespectful.
Debo was super grimy though, man.
He was grimy.
He is the fourth name on my list right here, Debo.
So let's run down the resume. It starts from the first time you hit a bike squeak. They start tucking chains in.
He had that. He terrorized that whole daggone neighborhood, though.
Yeah.
He had the whole hood shit. He had tucking your chains and.
What you got on my What you got on my 40, Red?
Yeah. What you got on my? Nah. Think of a dude really walked up on you and patted you down, bro.
Nah, ain't never happened to me.
Yeah, that's what I was
like. That never happened to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Really was patting niggas down.
That never. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna front. We had a neighborhood bully when I was growing up in the Bronx. And one time me and him almost got into it. I ain't gonna front. I ain't let it show on the surface, but inside I was shook. I'm not even gonna lie, because I'm like, yo, he might hook off on me right here. But I had to play it cool, like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna stay in my ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at least give off the impression that I'm good. But inside, heart going 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And then after that day, we was always cool after that. We never had no issue. So I ain't never get my pockets tapped and checked in that way. But I seen other cats coming back from getting Chinese food. I seen cats come back from getting Chinese food and get the whole order snatched. Like, just rip the bag out your fucking hand. Like, give me that shit.
Like, what you gonna do about it?
Yeah, and that's why I say I ain't gonna tuck my tail. You gonna have to knock me the fuck out. I'm not tucking my tail, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not. You never gonna have me in that manner, like where I'm that shook. I'd rather get punched in the face before I just let you do some shit like that.
Debo was crazy disrespectful,
right.
Man. He was like, when he pull up and after he pat everybody's pockets and everything, and before he knock old boy out, he was like, you know what I'm saying, man? What bike? Like, the beach cruiser. The beach cruiser.
Oh, that bike.
Oh, that bike.
Right over here. It's over here, homie. Right over here. I didn't even know you wanted it back.
It's it'll be like it'd be like, what do you say? It's like both ours.
It's both our bikes. We just keep it at my house.
Yeah, we keep it at my house. It's like both ours.
Nah,
man, and then he hit that dude with the strength of Thor's hammer.
When he said, bro, the whole dialogue, because when he said to him, Pops want me to ask for it. I wouldn't even trip.
I would trip.
Bro, you're a grown man talking about Pops told me to ask for it.
Yeah. I would.
DJ Pooh is low key mad funny though.
Oh yeah, he right to have that shit.
Yeah, because I know you seen The Wash.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Remember, there's a scene in The Wash, right, when they call over to the house, and he like, oh yeah, it's me, Trey D, Goldie Low. He's like, hey, I'm not here. He's like, who the fuck is that on the phone? It's the Census Bureau. Don't even worry about it. It's the people for the Census Bureau.
Yeah, you need to pull that one back out. Bro.
Nah, that's
I need to see that one.
That shit is a locally classic too.
Wow, that was early 2000s. That was a heavy rotation.
Hell yeah, because they got the two scenes of The Wash that I love, right? When they bring the shorties to the crib, and then Shorty fall asleep, and Dre trying to wake. And Snoop got the one joint in the room, and Dre ain't get no play, and he trying to wake Shorty up, and she holding her hands like she's scared he gonna do something. She holding her up. Is that scene? And then when Dre had pulled the Dre for the watch, he bring her, and Snoop keep walking about with the steak face. He peeking out the room. He creeping out. What the fuck you got in that living room over there? That's a classic movie too.
That's funny as hell, man.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a good one. My man Ren just put that one up. I forgot. Motherfucking, I can't even think of his character name. It might be Steven, because I seen it was Steven, but Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, it's Steven. It was Steven. Right? He's on my honorable mention.
Oh my God. Wow, disrespectful.
It's Steven.
And the cry? Yeah, the cry.
He got what he deserved at the end, though.
Yeah, he definitely did. That's a good one, though. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Whoever said that, that's a good one.
What else you got?
I gotta throw out.
Yo, Ace.
Hold
on. Before you go, Ace Bailey just went 5th right before you guys. He went to Utah.
Of course, he went 5th. Yeah.
He went to Utah.
All right. So now this needs to be.
This is. I think this is Queen.
Yeah, this gotta be Queen. And you gonna say some foreign name? Did the dude from Duke go already?
Knipple?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went 4th to Charlotte.
Good. Because I was worried about him following us, and I don't want no parts. This needs to be shit. How much time on the clock?
Let's see. Let me click over to it. I think I think it's Queen, or I think it's Trey Johnson out of Texas.
I want Queen, man. I want Queen. I mean, if it's Trey Johnson, all right, but Wizards fans need feel-good stories, man. Because we ain't got nothing else really bad. We need feel-good stories or something. I need something to make me want to get the NBA's league back.
3:45 left on the clock.
Okay. I'll go ahead and throw in one of my joints, and I ain't got a whole lot of dissertation on. because he was brief in the movie, but his time in the movie, he was a jerk from the jump. I'm gonna go. This is a deep cut to right here too. There's something else people should have seen. I'm going Flash from the Five Heartbeats. This dude was a snake in the damn grass the whole time he was in the group. He come up, they accepted him. First of all, he was always working, like he was always trying to be bigger than the group from the moment he got in the group.
Mm-hmm.
They accepted an award. I forget what award. What was the award? I forget what the award they accepted. And he steps out to take the mic to do the acceptance speech for the group. In the acceptance speech, he announces that he's leaving the group.
Yeah.
Not only am I leaving the group to go solo, my new album's going to drop next week. Whatever. Called "It's Lonely at the Top." What? You weren't even an original member of the group. You came in the group. They put you on. You blow up. You're accepting an award for the group. And during the acceptance of the award for the group performance,
I'm leaving.
Yeah, all right.
My solo
this
project.
Cool. I'm about to do my own. Yo, that's just for me. I hated Flash, man. You could tell from when he first popped on the scene, you could tell he had too much light skin energy, and it was going to be a bad time. He was going to be a bad time, man. I hate Flash. Where we at on that clock?
Man, we got. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that one. Right, that's a good one too. Dudo, I see you in the comment section. IG, I appreciate y'all. IG comment section looking good over there.
Okay.
I
got 3 more. That's all I got.
No, it don't matter. Like I said, we get through whoever we got, but there's a good one too. Low key, he was grimy though. I put him more as grimy than disrespectful, but underrated classic. Next Day Air.
Ooh, was Mos in that?
Mike Epps.
I'm thinking about Please Be Kind, Rewind.
Nah.
Next Day Air. I can't.
Next Day Air.
I know I saw it, but I only saw it once.
It's the joint that take place in Philly. It's when they get the package they ain't supposed to get over there.
Who was in that?
Mike Epps. What's homie name? What's homie name that was in Clueless? Light-skinned cat with the bald head.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I forget his name. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Wood Harris is in it. Wood Harris plays the character Gooch. Super grimy in the joint. And this cat from what's homie name from Power? Ghost.
Oh, he in there too?
Yeah.
I saw it like one time when it first came out. I don't have no recollection of it.
The whole concept behind it is they were some petty criminals, and one day a package was coming in. It was supposed to go to the Puerto Ricans that was down the hall. It was coming from Cali, and it ended up going into their doorstep, and it was like 10 bricks.
See, now I'm gonna be trying to think of dude from Clueless, and he was on that nurse show too. I forget
he was on that nurse show. But in
Glover.
the movie,
Something Glover.
It might be. I
think.
But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's a low key. It's a hood classic. It's funny as shit. But he's super grimy in the joint. Oh yeah, Mos Def is in it. Mos Def is he played it. He's like a UPS driver in the joint.
Yeah. Okay. So Mos. Yeah. I definitely saw that.
Yeah. That's right. Because that's when he get the watch. He take the watch out the joint.
Yeah, I saw that joint. I just don't remember it. Yeah, I just don't remember it.
But Gooch is just, to me, I feel I got him as more grimy than disrespectful in the joint. He's super grimy. He was trying to snake Mike Epps the whole time. Who else you got on the list?
This is a character in the movie, but it's real life too. I gotta go Rico.
Oh yeah, come on.
Getting paid in full.
Come on, man.
Cameron's role, man. I hated that dude.
Took the whole cake, mushed it right in his face, man. Show that nigga mad love, B.
Yeah.
Show that nigga mad love. Everybody looking at me like I'm bugging, man.
This dude was wild. The whole wild disrespectful the whole time. Remember he had the porno joint that he made.
You ain't even see when I put my leg up. Nigga said,
"Oh no,
throw that ass back." Nigga said, "Dude, the duck hit the joint."
And then the way he did Well, that's another one. This is another one. So, spoiler alert: if you ain't seen it, then shame on you. But the way he did Mitch,
Yeah,
and I mean, he set everybody up in that joint for real,
yeah.
and then snitched on everybody at the end.
And that's how
And
it
then,
happened.
oh, it's look, and it's a part in this movie, and this is real. This is a true story. So, you know how Cameron got shot in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
like a few years after. I almost
Mm-hmm.
said Belly. A few years after Pay the Fool came out, they tried to carjack him or whatever, and he got shot. He said
Mm-hmm.
that was all for niggas not like him. Still tie him like he was like he played that role was so realistic. People really thought that was him. Like he
Yo,
was really Rico.
Wizards drafted Trey Johnson, the guard out of Texas. I told you that's where he was gonna go. He's good, bro. He's really, really good. 6'4" point guard. He's good. I know you want the queen. I know. So Rico, who's in real life, he's playing Alpo Martinez, one of the flashiest drug dealers out of New York. But Cam talked about it later on. That cats in
Oh, and
DC.
at the end, and the thing is, I'm sorry. The thing at the end in that part when he was snitching,
Mm-hmm.
he said, "I'll give y'all some of these DC niggas, but I ain't snitching on nobody from Harlem."
Because when I come back home, I'm still gonna be the man.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
DC niggas they took that shit like real, like it was like he was really Alpo,
Yeah,
and that's he was not safe in DC for quite a minute.
yeah. I mean, and I understand why. Because there was a lot of there was a lot with that whole story that people didn't know. So there was a lot of other shit that went on with it, but he turned government's witness. A lot of cats in New York wasn't happy about it either because they felt like, yo, it's the game. You're supposed to just take your senses, do what you're supposed to do. But
And ultimately, didn't he have something to do with Mitch's little brother getting? He had nothing to do with that. Or that was the uncle.
That was the uncle. The reason they thought he did was because Alpo was half Spanish, and in one of the phone conversations when they was demanding a ransom note, the person was speaking Spanish, so they assumed that it was tied to Alpo some way somehow, but it never was. And when he killed Rich Porter and he dumped him up by City Island, the cats that was holding, so there was a crew out of Brooklyn called Preacher, who was like a known killer in the streets. They was the ones who had Rich's little brother. Once they saw Rich got killed and it made the news, they knew they was never gonna get the money for his brother. So then they ended up killing the little brother and they dumped him in the same area. And that's why people thought the two was connected because the bodies were found in pretty much the same area.
Did they really cut off the fingers and send them to him and all that first?
They cut off 2 fingers and they left it at McDonald's. They cut off.
Yeah, man.
They cut off his finger first. They cut off 2 fingers first, and they left it at McDonald's with an audio tape of the little boy screaming as they torture him. And then Rich was still trying to get the money together.
Imagine.
Yeah, Rich was
every
still
time
trying.
Like movies, like having kids, like when stuff like that, that kind of stuff happens in movies, and then immediately as a father, I'll be like, man, if that happened to my, like, God, it'd be more than some furniture moving for sure.
Yeah, but no, it played out. I mean, the movie is pretty accurate aside from how they show Rich Porter dying. It wasn't like that in the lobby of the building. It was him and so at the time, like I said, Rich was still getting the money together. Alpo had already made his move to DC. AZ was out the game already, but they still had the drug connect. And so Alpo was mad because he felt like Rich was overcharging him for the bricks. And so when he approached Rich, he tells the story. There's audio when he was on an interview from jail where he said, I knew Rich was cheating me out the money, but I was gonna give him the chance to tell me the truth. He's like, but when we were in the car, I told my little mans, I'm like, yo, if he lied to me, pop that nigga. And so when he asked Rich about the bricks and like, yo, did you go see the connect? He didn't know that Alpo already knew what the right prices were. He thought Alpo didn't know that he was getting it for a certain price and that he was upcharging it. And so when he told Al, he tried to stand on the story like, nah, this is what I got it from homie. His man shot him in the head, right in the back of the head.
Grand opening, grand close.
Right, yeah. And completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? they were supposed to be good friends and all that, but then Alpo, you know, that's karma for you though, because then shortly after that is when Alpo started having all his issues in DC, and they tried to kidnap him in DC. They tried to kidnap him, and then that's when he got shot like 3 times.
He's still out. He out right now, right?
He got murdered. He got murdered like 2 years ago.
He did.
Mm-hmm. He got murdered in Harlem.
When?
I want to say within the last like 2 to 3 years.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So when he came home, he did not want witness protection. They had him up in like I think in Maine for like maybe a year. But cats in New York knew he was out because he used to still sneak down to New York. So cats knew he was out. They didn't know where he was living, and he got right back in the game. He was hustling. And when he got killed, there's people trying to. The rumors in the street was that it was an old vendetta, but other people was like, nah, it was a drug deal had that gone wrong, because when he got killed, they found like 6 bricks in the trunk.
Damn.
So there was some people that were saying that it was a.
Wait, why they ain't get the bricks?
Say that again.
Whoever killed him, why they ain't get the bricks?
I don't know. The way the whole story goes with people that was in the area when it happened, because it was like a late night outside of a club. He was in the club. He got a call to come outside to his car. I guess the deal was supposed to go down. I don't know if the deal did go down, because he might have had more bricks. They might have robbed him for whatever they was originally picking up from him anyway. But when they shot him, then he tries to drive off, and then like maybe a block down the road is when he crashed the car. But he had already been shot, and he dies on it. By the time the ambulance and all that got there, he already died on the scene.
Okay. Wild story.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right too about the whole situation with Cam. Cam was like, niggas in DC took that shit.
Yeah, literally.
They went and got at him.
Not to be proud of that or nothing. I'm just saying, you know, that's how well he played that role. Motherfuckers took that shit seriously, and that's just ignorance of them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to be like, yeah, we came at but you know, that's ignorant. But that's how serious people took that role.
But Cam also said too that he didn't want to say that line in the movie because he knew people was gonna take the wrong way. And Dame
he did say that. Yep.
Dame was one that was like, nah, like it's cool. With Cam was like, I don't know, man, this shit ain't gonna sit right with a lot of cats that I say some shit like that. And a lot of people don't know too, like Cam did a lot of maneuvering out of town. Like Cam was really involved in shit like in Ohio.
I know that.
Yeah.
Well,
so Cam,
he was really out here.
That's what I'm saying. Cam was really moving around out of town, so he knew like the temperature. Like cats ain't gonna like that shit. A New York nigga saying, you know, I'll give y'all a couple cats from DC because when I get home,
Cam had a pack. Cam had a pack in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Columbus ain't even 2 hours from me. Like he was really out here. Like he wasn't just like everybody knew that was his package. He was like really out here because Columbus is different. It's a city, but it's a small town. It's like it ain't DC or it ain't Philly, it ain't New York. The Midwest is different the way they move with their cities. It's still country to me, being from the DMV, but as far as like a Midwest state goes, like Columbus, St. Louis, that kind of thing, is like they kind of move the same way. But he was really out here moving.
Well, he said in the Columbus ain't never seen Bow Wow. He was out
there. Yeah, Bow, yeah. Chad don't be.
Nah. But and Freaky Zeke has said too, like when they got out of their contract, when Dame got him out the contract, and Dame was like, yo, I can't give you a lot for the advance because I had to pay to get you out that other contract. He said something like Dame gave him like $700,000, and he was like, the moment Cam got the check, Cam let Zeke know, like, you know what it is, like make them calls. We going right out of town with this, and we gonna get our own money.
That's exactly what they did.
And they did, yeah. And they did it for a few years until things got stable up at Rockefeller. They did.
They rapped about it too, which is kind of messy.
But that's how Cam was.
Did it in Ohio. They really was at that time. Yeah. That's what I was like, all right, okay. I can't be mad at them because they weren't.
Yeah. Right. They was out there, and that's how Cam got kicked out of college too. when Cam was on his basketball scholarship, he was playing like D2, I think, in Arizona. Son, that's how he got thrown off campus. He was moving weight out there too. So
shout out to Cameron Base
for doing.
I love that. That show is pretty entertaining. Shout out to them.
Let's get one more. Let's get one more name in, and then we'll wrap up on that note.
I can really squeeze my last two because my one is only one piece. First, I'm gonna leave the short one for last. This is a collective effort. It's not one character. It's a collective effort. But Full Force in House Party, all them dudes.
Oh, Full Force, yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
First of all, the casting was wild. Them dudes was 40 years old playing high school singers with Jerry curls, steroid bodies. These dudes was at least. These dudes had mortgages, chasing around kid, trying to ruin his life. First they get on him in the cafeteria. You know what I'm saying? He just trying to have lunch. And then they start talking about they start talking about his dead mama. Like, yo, I don't care who you are. We gonna have an altercation. You talking about my dead mama by her name? It's gonna be some things happening. They do that. Then dude just trying to have a good time just trying to go to a party. They literally trying to kill this nigga on his way to a party.
Yeah, on his way to the party.
They literally was trying to kill this dude, man. Let's try to commit murder on this dude, fool, because he spilled chocolate milk by backing his chair up at lunch earlier that day. Somebody spilled some chocolate milk on their shirt or their hammer pants.
They was running around with fishnet crop tops, bro.
They were wild. If you got a grown ass dude in that garb with that hairstyle coming at you when you were in high school,
the whole outfit choice was nasty.
in a Jeep.
The whole outfit choice was nasty. My man, he got a Jerry curl with a dangly earring and a crop top shirt.
Yeah, yo, Full Force was out of pocket that whole movie, and then don't forget. Getting kid wasn't enough. So then they found the party.
Yeah.
And the dude, Bow-Legged Lou, was trying to burn the whole house down. And he was like, and even his homie was like, I'm gonna put with kicking some fucking ass, but you talking about burning people up?
Right. Yeah, they wanted to burn the fucking house down.
Yeah. Yo, man, Full Force. Oh, y'all. The whole time you chasing around this dude that's supposed to be really a nerd compared to what everybody else considered besides his little rapping and dancing. This dude was just trying to spit his little verse at a party and holler at a chick. That's all he trying to do. And you trying to murder this dude over some chocolate milk getting spilled. Man, get Full Force up out of here, man. Get him up out of here. Yeah. And then my final is real quick. Rose on Titanic. There was room on that goddamn door or whatever you was floating on. There was room for my man. You had my man freezing in the water. He done risked life and limb for you this whole time. He drew you while you was bucking naked. He drew you with most precision and care. He made passionate love to you while the dude that you supposed to be there with. When they were saying women and children on the boats or whatever, he got in front of the women and children.
And then he tried to grab somebody else's child too.
He should be on the list, actually.
He should be on the list.
If he was on he could be on the list too. But Rose, you had room. You didn't need to let that man freeze. What was my man in what was his name? The dude. What was Leo's name? Was it Jake or something like that?
It might have been Jake, yeah.
For purposes of this conversation, his name's gonna be Jake tonight. You had room for Jake on whatever you was floating on, man. You didn't have to let that man freeze and then say, and you holding his hand and say, I'll never let go, and promptly let go.
Yep. Yep.
Like, what's the dude? What's
she lost
the New York? It's one of the New York cats to be doing the joints now. I forget his name. He be like, pack you up, man. Pack
Oh
those
yeah,
up, man.
yeah. Shout out to Will Mills. He funny as shit too.
Will Mills, yeah.
He's
Pack
funny as
you up,
shit.
son. Pack you up. Pack you up, bro. So that's my list. Boom. Pack them all up. Throw them on the set. Throw them up. Everybody, all you jerks in this list right here, pack all y'all up.
Pack them all up.
Y'all out of here.
Shout out to Pooh. I just see your statement, Pooh. Your comment.
Oh yeah. What up, Pooh?
She was asking about Queen. She goes, "How good is Queen? He look a little chunky to me." Well, first of all, he young. It's a lot of baby. Yeah. It's a lot of baby fat there. Pause. But very good, very skilled. I think.
Did he get hit?
No, not yet. Toronto's on the clock at number 9.
Pooh.
The only concern.
New York?
I don't think Pooh's out of New York. Pooh, let us know where you out of.
I'm surprised. He is very good. Got a question about Quinn. Yeah, man, dang, we should have took him. See, I'm in there being mad as hell. Well, but we can still move up from 18, right?
Yeah, you can move up.
We can move up from 18 to like what they at right now, like 10.
They're at 9 right now with Toronto on the clock.
So we can move up to like 11 or 12. We need to bring him home, man.
She said, "No, I don't mean fat. No, like I say, just he young. She down
oh,
in
ATL.
Atlanta. Yeah,
okay.
ATL. But yeah, Queen is gonna be good though. The only concern with Queen is at 6'9", he's not a traditional 5. And if he plays 4, the way the league is set up now with a lot of these stretch 4s and athletic guys playing 4, he's going to have to defend guys the opposite way. That was one of the things I talked about earlier. If you look at some of the 4s in the league, like Pascal Siakam, like Julius Randle, those are going to be tough matchups for him night in, night out. But offensively, he's going to be good though.
I think physically he's nowhere near where he's going to be. I feel like I have to say pause in this day and age, but I feel like he's going to grow into his body, and he's going to put muscle on, and he might not even be done growing height wise. He might put another couple inches of height on him because he's so young, and he's so unpolished and raw. Pause, but you can still see, his potential. And somebody like I kind of consider myself somebody that can judge basketball talent. He's got all the talent in the world. Mm-hmm. He's got all the tools. All he needs to do is, like, I still think he don't even know how to play basketball. And like me and Eric, over the years we've been doing this show, it's guys that I'll say that about. Like they have the tools, they have the athleticism, and they have the opportunity. And it's just they're so young, they still don't even know how to play basketball. This dude's 19 years old, maybe 19.
18.
He's still 18.
And I 1,000% agree with you. First of all, he reclassified. So keep in mind, he really should be going into his freshman year of college. He played up a year.
Yeah.
He played up a year.
And that's when you see the baby fat on him, when you see, when he looks a little meatier, chunkier than he should be, it's because this dude's still eating Doritos for breakfast. Like, he don't even know how to be a professional yet. He's still a child.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still, I bet you right now, if we go to his house, I guarantee you there's at least 2 boxes of Capri Suns in his fridge.
I
guarantee you. He's still a child. He don't know how to be an adult. He don't have the nutritionist yet, which he will get at the pro level.
He hasn't had real coaching yet.
Exactly. He hasn't had anything yet. Mm-hmm. He's just a raw talent that whoever gets him is going to be able to, if you invest in him properly, will be able to mold, and you're gonna have a perennial all-star on your team down the line. I'm not saying in the first 2 or 3 years. He has potential for that. He's got his hands are very, man, today's day and age make you say pause for everything. He got super soft hands, pause. And that's as a big man, that's very important. You can catch the ball in tight spaces and be able to finish around the rim. And when you're finishing around the rim, you need a certain level of touch as Hakeem Olajuwon and guys like that that are able to finish around the rim at different angles. You know what I'm saying? Without having to be all power, he's got that. He has the ability to step out, and he will need to increase that range. But I think like I said to you, Eric, with you and Combo in the comment section of the night. When I said he's like, I think he could be like a Cat Williams. I mean Cat Towns.
Yeah.
Cat Williams. Carl Anthony Towns. I'm meaning like the poor man's version right now. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the jumper that Carl Anthony Towns had coming into the league. He doesn't have the size that Carl Anthony Towns had coming into the league. But Carl Anthony Towns doesn't use the size. Period. First of all, he does have a better jumper than what my guy does, but I think all that can be worked on, and I think he could be better than Carl Anthony Towns at the end of the day. That's what I think you can get out of Derek Queen. Of course, he's a Terp. Of course, he's from Maryland, so of course I'm gonna always rep my guys. But I think I think by us passing on him, a mistake, which we always make. And whoever does take a chance on him is going to have a guy that they can invest in and be proud that they drafted. And he's going to be there for at least the next 5 years.
So like I said, Queen, it's still super raw because he's going to need the coaching and the development. And wherever he lands, that's going to probably be the most important thing. He's going to need to be somewhere where he can actually develop into the player he's going to become. Again, 18 years old, we don't even know. He's not even close to a finished product.
Not at all.
Right. So that's one. I think two, in terms of like what he possesses skill wise, he is a little advanced offensively for an 18-year-old because he has a little bit of a bag already. So with the right coaching, you can emphasize that and you can get that up. The Karl Anthony Towns comparison, I get it because of his ability to score at different levels as a big. But it's not a fair comparison. I think Karl Anthony Towns was more polished at this point coming into the draft.
He definitely was.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not that fair of a comparison for him there. Poole had a couple joints here. Where they got Jason Richardson's son going. When I checked yesterday's mock draft before Combo and I went live, they had Jace Richardson going in a range of somewhere from 22 to 26. So by most accounts, we're talking Nets, OKC, possibly Miami. If none of those teams trade out of those spots, somewhere in that range is where they got him going. She also wondered, and I like this question a lot because I don't understand this whole situation with Fears. But the Pelicans got DeJounte Murray coming back. They got Jordan Poole. They got Jose Alvarado. That's the Mexican kid she's talking about that plays pressure D. Why they pick Fears? Jeremiah Fears is high on a lot of people's boards. I didn't have him that high because I think undersized guards are very tough to determine how good they're going to be at the next level. You're talking about a 6'2" guard who's very ball dominant. I don't know if Jeremiah Fears is going to get an opportunity. And that Pelican situation is not a good one for him because they still got to figure out what they're doing with Zion and Ingram. Jordan Poole is not part of their long-term plan, so I wouldn't include him in that. DeJounte Murray coming back from an injury. It's going to be tough for Jeremiah Fears to get minutes. They're going to have to work the right lineups to get him some minutes because, as you mentioned, at 6'2", you really can't play him with Jose Alvarado because Jose Alvarado's a small guard as well. You possibly could play with DeJounte Murray, but I don't know if there's enough shooting on the floor if those are these two guys that you're playing together. So it's a tough spot for him to land in New Orleans, but I don't think the Pelicans really know what they're doing with their organization anyway.
I got a couple questions for Pooh. I'm gonna change it up a little bit because I know she a loyal watcher of the show, and her being from Atlanta, and I know her. I remember when were we talking about rappers?
Last week, we was doing.
Okay, was that last week? Okay, yeah. And she mentioned that her pop said that
Face, right?
Yeah, the can't nobody fuck with Scarface. So when she had mentioned that, I was like, oh, he must be around my age. Pooh, two-part question. Is your pops like over 45? First of all, I'm guessing probably. And second part, you seem to know a lot. Like, no matter if we talking football or basketball, you have some good insights. Did you play any sports coming up? I'm just curious I'm not saying like, questioning you. I'm just asking, like, as you grew up, did you play any hoops or like flag? Because I know it's not a lot of contact football for the ladies, but I know there's a couple flag leagues out there. Just wondering if you were an athlete coming up. I like to know the listeners. You know what I mean?
Nah,
But
Pooh definitely well informed, and we appreciate Pooh locking in with us because
yeah,
Pooh
yeah.
showing us a lot of support.
I
Definitely showing
always
us a lot of
see.
support.
Yeah, I always
Um,
see like when you and Trip do your shows, like she's always there too. So she seems like she's locked in on the vibe.
she also said Duke keep racking up lottery picks. Yeah, that's what happened. They're blue blood, and a lot of the young cats want to go to Duke. It ain't gonna stop. It's gonna keep happening. Um, they've done their thing in assembling a great program that is player friendly. All these young guys want to go there.
And I thought it was gonna fall off after Coach K, and it has not.
Yeah, it really hasn't. It's continued on, but it's not a bad thing. Like I said, as long as they continue to put out quality guys, it's cool. I think Cooper Flag's gonna be quality. We're gonna get
Hey,
ready
you
to
already
wrap.
know how I felt about Coop.
Cooper's gonna be good, man. They're gonna be good. We're gonna start getting ready to wrap up. Well, let me know what's your final thought. What's on your mind?
Um, Really, the biggest thing I've been thinking about is what's going on in this country right now. I know we don't get into that kind of stuff, man.
I mean, we
But
can, if
I'm
the
gonna keep it. I'm
conversation
gonna keep
takes
it
us
brief.
there.
I'm gonna keep it very brief on that because I've been heavy into that. Like if you ever look at my Facebook, like I'm on that heavy. Man, what's going on? I'm gonna just say, vote, 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 vote. Anybody? I know it's a lot of people that say, "Oh, my vote don't count." Vote and don't vote like vote locally. Don't pass up.
Thank you.
Don't pass up the local elections. That's more important than the national elections. Our local representatives speak for us. That's who we elect who goes to speak for us to the big boys.
Mm-hmm.
And when we pass up these local elections, well, I know a lot of people do. They don't take them seriously. That's when your voice isn't heard. They're supposed to be our voice. Our voice. We vote for our voices to go to Congress, to go to the Senate, to go. And it starts here. Vote locally. Vote. This is why everything we're going through right now as a country, we're going through it, and it's not looking. It's not looking great. It's kind of looking dim. Y'all need to pay attention. I'm not a political dude, but man, I got kids. Man, I'm bringing them up in this world. Like our future, the leadership we have right now is very grim. We in bad hands as a country. In my opinion, you can at me whatever. I'll talk to you all day. We can have civilized conversations about it. We're in the worst hands we've ever been in, and it's not going to get any better. Vote locally. Pay attention. Don't think your voice doesn't matter because it does. We need to unite, put all the BS aside, and take our country back because all this stuff that's going on right now, it's not conducive to us flourishing as a society going forward. So if you want a better world for yourself, if you want a better world for your children, if you want a better world for common man, get out there and make your voice heard. Like this is all fun what we do. We're a relief from all of that. That's what we try to aim. To add some levity to the situation. But at the same time, we need to really pay attention to what's going on out here, man. It's bad out here, and we need to rein things in, come together as a people, and start making sense. They say that some folks say that make America great again, which will make sense again.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to these comments from Pooh, and I'm gonna get my final thought. To answer your question, Will, she said you want to know her resume. She goes, "Nah, I just grew up in a family with all males. Everyone played. She played a few years ago. She gave up the game. You know what I'm saying? She said she was too girly, I guess. And her pops was 45, so 90s is the era."
Okay, cool. All right. So Let me address Pooh. I see the clock too, Eric. I'm gonna keep it brief. Pooh, I wasn't. That's why I was trying to clear that I wasn't questioning your resume. I wasn't trying to be like, the fuck you know about what we talk. That wasn't where I was coming from. What I was trying to say was you're very informed, and that's
Right.
not common. Like that women comment on sports podcasts as frequently as you do. That's why I was like, damn, you must have something. You must have a background in sports. And then I asked when I said, "Is your dad 45?" Did I say 45 or up? About the Scarface comment,
Mm-hmm.
I think I nailed it. You say your pops is 45. I get it, because I'm 46, so I understand. So that's respect. That's what it was. What I was saying was no disrespect at all. I was just genuinely curious because
Right.
genuinely curious by being impressed is all I'm saying. It was no knock.
And then she said, so this is the crazy part, right? She said, one question before y'all leave, how did y'all meet and became cool? Me and Will Gordon have never met in person.
Can I tell the story?
Go ahead.
Let me tell the story. All right, so because I tell the story all the time because I love this dude like a brother, man, and we have never met in person. So I have a sports group on Facebook called For the Love of the Game, and I started this group in 2014. I think Eric, you joined it like 2017, maybe.
Yeah, like 2017, 2018.
Yeah, you joined around 2017, 2018. So my group is only NBA and NFL talk, anything related to that. So it could be memes, it could be serious stuff, play breakdowns, game footage, memes, jokes, whatever, as long as it's NBA or NFL related. So Eric ended up being, I don't know who invited you even to the group. Eric.
Troy Perry.
Oh, Troy. I ain't talked to Troy in a minute.
So yeah.
It's like 400 members to the group. Like I initially invited, people I went to school with, like you usually do on Facebook, and then they invited people and everything else. So me and Eric joined, and like the group is like unadulterated. Just say what like pretty much like this show. So me and Eric kind of linked up on different topics, conversations, things like that. And then he pretty much, put me on to the, he's a broadcaster, does his shows, has different outlets that he puts out on, different shows he goes on, and he invited me to his show because I was kind of wild. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't that. So I'm gonna add on to it. We're gonna go over the 2 hours, so it's cool. Don't worry about it. But so I got invited to the group chat pool, and as I'm paying attention, you know what I'm saying? At the time, me and Trip, shout out to Trip, we were doing in studio.
Shout out to Trip, yeah.
Yeah, we were doing in studio stuff. So this is obviously prior to the pandemic. We weren't doing no Zoom and none of that type of stuff. So I had already seen Will's takes, and I always thought his takes were funny and on point. I thought like, yo, what he's saying is true, but it's also comedy attached to it. And it was always good takes. It wasn't like these goofy takes where people try to sound like they trying to look for shock value. It just seemed like he was coming across as genuine. So when the pandemic hit and I started doing more Zooms and I started like kind of doing my own podcast, I was still doing Real Fans Real Talk, obviously, as you guys know, because I still do Real Fans Real Talk. But it was so much time to fill that I started. First, I used to do like little quick shorts on Instagram and Facebook to fill the time. And then I was like, I'm gonna start doing a podcast on Zoom. And I'm like, but I want to like, can I have somebody I can bounce back and forth with and kind of debate with? Me and Trip already had our own thing. So I'm like, I don't want to continue it the same way because that's already Real Fans Real Talk. I don't want to do it the same way. And I had asked Troy, I'm like, yo, you think Will would be interested in it? Because I already enjoy his takes. And he told me, yeah, he was like, I think he definitely would be with it. And that's when I had just asked you, like, yo, you want to do it? Like, we jump on live. Oh, at the time, we just did Zoom. We didn't do live yet. And we did the first episode. And I was like, yo, this shit is kind of fire. It's flowing right now. And then we just kept it going from there. It was
from the first joint.
Yeah, from the first joint. It was like, yo, it was flowing. And what a lot of people don't realize, too, is like, you could speak with somebody about sports when it's just y'all in a room together. But to actually do it knowing that people watch, and some people clam up, some people get nervous, some people ain't comfortable being in front of camera. And that was one of the things that Will right away, he was cool with it. So, and you was the one actually, remember we used to do Zoom and I used to just cut up the clips that we would put out.
Yeah.
You was the one that was like, yo, let's just go Facebook Live and don't worry about cutting up no clips. Just go live. So I was like, all right, fuck it, let's just go live and do it that way. But we are working on the meetup pool because she said, oh my God, y'all never met.
Yeah, I'm coming back to the DMV the first week of August. First weekend of August.
We got our first trade of the night. The Hornets is sending Mark Williams to the Suns for the 29th pick. And when you come into town, like I said, once you know the date, let me know because I actually have a studio that we can record.
I'll be there the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I'm gonna be there of August. I'm going to the little brother retirement tour joint down at Howard Dade on the 2nd, but I'm pulling up on the 1st.
Okay.
And I'll be there the 2nd, and at least I'll be there the 3rd. I might not leave to the 4th, but it's that first weekend of August, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
All right, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, you in town.
Yeah,
make it happen. We definitely link up for sure.
But yeah, Pooh, we used to like from the first show, it was instant chemistry, and then we used to do the Friday Night Lives, the opinionated ones. You know what I'm saying? And like we took off like from day one. It was just instant chemistry, and through the years, we done had lots of fun, lots of laughs, lots of guests. You know what I'm saying? We just it's just been a brotherhood, and we still have not met face to face. So we've been doing this 5 years now, and still ain't met face to face. But you know what I'm saying? I hope you and the other viewers can tell. It's always a vibe when we get together, and I hope you guys enjoy what we try to put out for you.
Yeah, and like I said, it's gonna happen in August. If we're able to record something while Will's in town, we definitely. But y'all gonna see the flicks because we're gonna link up, so y'all gonna see the flicks.
For sure.
Let me know. I wanted. Damn. So she said when we had you talking about when we had Eric Barkley on Real Fans Real Talk. So did you see the episode when we had him in studio? When we had him in live, we had him in studio. Like I said, prior to the pandemic. And Will, I'm not gonna tell the story on air.
Oh, that's how I was wondering. You know what? Hold on. I was wondering, Pooh, how you found the show being from Atlanta, because I didn't know. I was like, Eric got some down south looks. I know I don't.
Nah.
I was wondering. So you found a link and clicked on the link, and then been rocking since. That's what's happening, man. That's the beauty of technology and social media and all that. That's what's up, man.
Oh, you saw when he was on Zoom with us. Yeah, Pooh, I appreciate that, man. That's dope that you've been rocking with us ever since.
That's what she said.
That's love for sure. I'll tell you this story off camera, Will, because this shit is hilarious about Eric Barkley. Eric Barkley, a real one though. Thorough dude. But I'm gonna tell you about the time we had him in studio, and Trip will co-sign the story. This shit was one of the funniest joys. So when we get off live, don't exit off. I'm gonna end the streaming and we'll talk about it off live.
All right.
And then Pooh also wants to know, you talking about Vernon Brownlee. Vern, me and Vern still, yeah, we still talk. Yeah, the counselor. We talked, he was talking hella shit to me when the Knicks lost. And we was talking the other day, he actually had sent me something about the Colts because me and him was talking football this upcoming season. We're gonna try to get Vern back on during football season for like picks and a gambling talk. But I know his schedule is all over the place. It's tough. When he got a case, he's committed to that case, for however long it takes. So sometimes he just don't have the time to get on live consistently like that.
Last time I saw him, he was last seen trying to get on Josh Harris's staff as legal counsel for the Commanders. That's the last report I got.
And Vern, another, like I said, I met Vern one time. Vern actually came through DCA. That's how I met Vern.
I never met Vern either. I ain't never met Troy. Dude, I left DC. What's this? 2025. I was 21 when I left DC, man.
Oh, I thought because I remember the last time you was in town. I remember the last time you was in town when you had everybody meet up at live.
No, guess what? I organized that, but I wasn't there.
Hold on. All right, so you know what? Let's wrap this up, and then we're gonna talk more of it.
All right, yeah.
We'll do that. Yo, but Pooh, we're gonna get it back on, and the Eric Barkley joint is in the archives. I want to second what Will Gordon said in regards to the state of our country. Make sure you guys are being active and involved. Don't just vote when it's every 4 years for the president. Vote on a local level. Understand who your judges are. Understand who's running your local politics, because really that's where the most impact is made for your community. The president, yeah, everybody loves to say go out and get out and vote, but that's not the impact that we really need. It's on the local level, But from my brother Will Gordon, I am Eric Sanchez. We are the Opinionated Ones. We're going to be back next Wednesday. Again, we appreciate all the love and support tonight. Great comments on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. We got a lot of comments that came through on IG, so I like to see that. I like that we're growing that viewership on that side as well. We're going to keep that going.
And next week, we start Fitted War.
Oh, we're going Fitted Wars?
You want next week or 2 weeks?
No, we go next week.
All right, we're going Fitted War next week.
We go
it's
Fitted
gonna be
Wars
round
next
one.
Week. Round one. All right, we're going to go Fitted Wars next week. We're going to put the poll up. We're going to let the people vote on the fitted.
Yeah, and then the following week, we reveal the winner. And then, you know what I'm saying? Just do it week by week.
I like that.
Keep a weekly win-loss column.
I like that. All right, so we're going to do that next week.
All
Wednesday,
summer, Fitted Wars.
All summer. Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Make sure you guys lock in with us. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. For my brother Will Gordon, I am Eric Sanchez. We are the Opinionated Ones, and we will see you guys next week. We out of here. Enjoy your night.